Welcome, everyone. Lovely to be with you. So for this meeting, just a note that there are a couple of friends here visiting. So for the duration of this meeting, if we could suspend the past, meaning to simply be without a narrative, nothing that you need to do, nothing that you need to fix or accomplish, nothing that you need to attain, nothing that you need to remember. Simply sit comfortably and welcome your experience, whichever way it is appearing to you. The warmth of the body, the gentle breath, to be fresh in this moment, like a newborn baby. To be not knowing, allowing being to be without a personal doer, because there is no such a thing. In your experience, there is presence, awareness, taking on the form of sensations with your eyes closed, thoughts and sensations. But the elephant in the room is this invisible awareness. Formless, genderless, magical. We are so habituated to identifying with something, some form of identification. but as presence, as awareness, there is no need for any identification. There is a freedom. There is peace, effortlessness, effortless awareness. And there is no personal self, which is separate, which stands apart from this effortless awareness. Which is the heart of silence, pregnant with love and light, peace, freedom from worries and concerns. Notice how whatever appears to you appears in awareness. It's arising, one could say, from awareness to awareness, like a ripple appears on the surface of the pond, arising out of the pond and dissolving back into the pond. Nothing is happening to the pond. Nothing ever happens to the pond in spite of infinite ripples of various size and various shape. The pond remains as it is. You are that. In this metaphor, you are the pond and the ripple. The ripple arises out of you, to you, within you, as you. Similarly, the world, meaning perceptions via the senses, appear within consciousness and out of consciousness and to consciousness. Sensations, images, thoughts. Nothing ever happens to you, you meaning consciousness. sometimes via thoughts, via what we refer to as the mind, we are seeking to find truth. But the mind is conditioned, it is taught, it is trained, it is made out of the past. It is conceptual. It is an instrument, a limited tool. But truth is limitless. It is only via the limitless that the limitless is revealed. Only when God reveals itself, then God is revealed. When God is hiding in plain sight, as this ordinary awareness. In some scriptures, it is said that this ordinary awareness is extraordinary. These are not words uttered in vain. It is a pointer. This ordinary awareness, this formless awareness. Even the sense of me, the separate me, appears within this ordinary awareness and is made out of awareness. The sound of silence. In the Hindu scriptures, it is said that Atman is Brahman. That this ordinary self is, in fact, universal self. That the sense of me is universal, impersonal. And does not belong to a particular form. But in fact, the sense of me is formless. There is no need to identify the sense of me with any form. So we can let go of the past, because in reality, we never do, in fact, experience any past outside of a current thought or memory, which appears within awareness right now, in this moment. So you can be, just simply be, being, meaning not knowing, no history, no story, no narrative. Because narratives and stories belong to the body mind. We need to know our parents, we need to know the location of our home, but that's only for the body mind. It does not serve any purpose when it comes to our inquiry into truth. And truth, which is love, which is freedom, which is joy, which is beauty. So we can dive in the ocean of not knowing, not looking back. Deeper and deeper, releasing, relaxing, letting be. It is inevitable that all matter dissolves and time returns to its formless nature. Your history, your story, your ideas, your beliefs, your accumulated sensations and memories, histories are bound to dissolve. That which is and cannot not be is, remains. Because it does not belong to the phenomenal realm. In the realm of reality is your realm, your true realm. That which is not in time and space. That which is not subject to cause and effect. That which deep down you know yourself to be, in spite of the superficial games of identification which you seem to cherish. So allow, be, and let be. Freshly, moment by moment. No direction, no purpose, no objective, because you are already that. You are the home that you seek. It's a done deal. Don't mistake yourself to be an entity in time and space. So, if you have some questions, anything that you would like to explore, please make sure to unmute yourself. And there should be an icon down there. I think it's called the reaction icon, where you could like raise your hand if you can find it. Lately, I haven't been able to find it, but any questions? Any questions? Hello, Anna. Let's see. I think you need to unmute yourself.
Hi, Maggie.
Hello, Anna.
Nice to see you. I entered a little bit late, sorry. And I heard, I don't know if this is accurate, but I heard that you say that the sense of me, it's also awareness. Can you elaborate further on that?
Yes.
Thank you.
You see, we all experience a sense of self, meaning that there is something rather than nothing. The sense of self is, in most cases, identified with the body. It's that we have this sense of self, and we believe that this sense of self is because I'm a person, I'm a man, I'm Magdi, I'm somebody. But this sense of self, without the identification, is simply awareness, meaning I know I am, not I know I am somebody. The I am precedes I am somebody. So the I am somebody, which is a sense of what we are habituated to be this person. In fact, the I am part of it is the true sense of self before being identified, before attaching itself to a history, to a sensation, to a memory, to a narrative. So I am somebody encompasses I am. The I am somebody, the core, the reality of I am somebody is pure I am. But the game that consciousness plays is it says, I am this, but not that. So, because the I am has no distinction, does not make a distinction between I am meaning this, but not that. It's just pure I am. So it's completely open. The I amness, the amness is completely open. So it encompasses everything and nothing. I am nothing, neti neti. I am not a form. I am not an entity. At the same time, I am all entities. I am everything. I am the world. I am the mountains. I'm the rivers. I'm infinite universes. I am that, whatever that is. So the sense of personal self is the sense of self attached to a form. And the return from this identification is the understanding that I am remains even when identification is removed. In other words, without being Magdi, I am is. Experientially, you look at your experience of I, and you just hang with it. You sort of stay with it, let it hang in the space. This I will reveal itself to be formless, to be colorless, to be shapeless. This I will reveal itself to be just awareness, this ordinary awareness, which is extraordinary. Once you get a sense of that, then you visit that sense of that over and over, you visit it and you revisit it until this clarity is established within yourself, is established that I is. stands of its own, does not need to be propped up by a form, does not need to be propped up by history or a story or a narrative. So once this sense of I is established to a certain degree, you can explore the attributes of this sense of I. That this I, which is right now this very alive I-ness or amness right now in this moment, is formless, is genderless, is borderless, is colorless, has no location, has no size, no shape, is not affected by earthquake, it's not affected by winning the lottery. The body-mind is, but not I. This will bring you closer and closer it brings you to the edge of the precipice. Bring you to at the edge of the revelation of the universality of I. There's a great freedom in the understanding and the revelation about the universality of I, the universality of the self. So you can go from the personal self, the self which has a form, to the formless self, which is the essence of the form. And then from the essence of the form, you can go to its universality. This path will free you from the accumulated debris of identification. You have to be careful. There are some teachings that say there is no self, there is no one, there is nothing to do, there just is what is. You have to be careful of this sort of teaching, because this sort of teaching is a new Advaitic teaching. It has not culminated in the full understanding about the self. It has only reached a partial understanding about no separate entity. It's stuck into nihilism. It's stuck into nothingness. But anyways, that's just a side note. So don't make a problem out of your sense of self. Simply explore the understanding that this personal sense of self is in fact impersonal. Everything in your experience is impersonal. You don't choose your thoughts, you don't choose your gender, you don't choose the next moment, you don't choose the next sensation. It's all universal, meaning it's all cosmic. And you are this formless reality. Because there's only one reality, you see. And there is something that you need to explore if you have questions about that, because it's important for you to reach your own clarity, not to adopt a belief that there is only one reality. You have to sort of come to a certainty within yourself that yes, I am satisfied with the understanding that there's only one reality. Otherwise, you need to explore it, of course.
Do you experience a sense of self in daily life, or you don't?
I don't experience a sense of personal self, but I'm not stupid. I know that there is a body-mind named Magdi, and that has certain responsibilities and certain interests and certain preferences, and so I'm quite aware of the body-mind, as you are. I mean, there is that, but the sense of self, the old sense of self, is replaced with some open, borderless beingness, sort of. It's hard to describe. It's like being nothing in everything, being no one in everyone, pure being. So the sense of self reveals itself to be this pure being, this universal self. But it's not a sensation. It's not a mind state or a sensation, or it's isness. I don't know how else to speak about it. It's beingness. It's not some extraordinary thing. It's our true nature. It's not my true nature and not yours. It's true nature. It's reality. We all are this one reality, except that because of habitual identification, we're perceiving via a narrow lens, perceiving via a prism, which is distorting our perception, our understanding. It's distorting our experience. But behind the lens is you. Behind the prism is you. The same you, the same I, the same self, the one self, one reality. So it's the same. How do you describe consciousness? You cannot describe it. It's what we are. It's that which is. The reality which is, which knows it is, which perceives and knows it perceives. There's no way to describe it phenomenally outside of speaking about the freedom, the joy, the creativity, the understanding, the beauty, the happiness, the sense of awe. So you need to get an understanding about the lens, about the prism, the identification process.
Yeah. It's always previous. What we are is always previous to anything.
Yes.
And the experience is, of course, this vastness, this openness, but then there is sometimes this, it's like ownership, which is the identification. Let's say a problem arises, or it's not a problem, or a situation. So that's where you see if there is identification or not.
Yeah. Situations arise in your life, and there are opportunities for you to explore dealing or relating to the situation that presenting itself to you, meaning within awareness, from a universal, from an impersonal perspective, rather than the habitual perspective, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? How can I get the most out of it? How can I get ahead? Yes. So these are beautiful homeworks, like when you're in school, you go to class, the teacher explains the theorem, and then they give you problems to go work on at home. So life presents you with problems, with situations for you to understand, to come to your freedom. It gives you situations in the world, in your body, in your mind, in relationships. And all these are opportunities. There are no problems. In life, there are no problems. Problems is a skewed way of perceiving our experience. We start with we load the basis, with our BS, and then we see problems and opportunities, So, but when the bases are not loaded, there are no problems. Everything that you perceive is available to you to do whatever you want with it, including imagine it to be a problem. Then I guess you love problem solving, and go ahead. Live in the world of problems and problem solving. That's our freedom, right? I mean, the freedom of consciousness. To play the game of, I have a problem. Oh my God, what's going to happen to me if I don't solve this problem? Right?
What I call, yeah, I mean, situations is a better way to call it, unless you are talking to a mother who just lost a child in a war, for instance. You are not going to tell her
Including that. Including that.
Including that, you're not going to tell her that because, she's in another, she's suffering from that moment of this child.
Including that.
Mm.
Including that. Including that. A child comes into the world, goes out of the world. Birth and death. What's the big deal about it? Of course, I'm not talking about love, I'm not talking about grief. Of course, everybody's entitled to their grief, and it's important to grieve, but we don't need to make a big deal out of birth and death of the body-mind. Of course, I'm not talking about cruelty or behaving in cruelty towards each other. No, that's a different topic. We should relate with each other out of love and compassion and friendship and empathy. Yes.
So there are some times that the mind grab or wants to grab the situation, own it, to call it like this. Another times, no. Another times it's just arrive. It's seen, it's observed, but there is no story. No story about the situation. Tension comes, maybe it gets resolved, maybe not. But it's like the ego or the sense of self doesn't feel called to own it.
What do you mean by own it?
Ownership of the situation means that you get identified.
You can identify with everything.
Exacto. But not always. You see what I'm saying? Like sometimes there is this identification with certain situation and sometimes nothing.
Well, certain situations appear to you within your space and they're relevant to you. and some situations appear to your neighbor and they're relevant to the neighbor. But
No,
whatever.
but even situations that are not the neighbor, you know, every day situations appear every day. Okay, so why is it that in certain cases there is no reaction, no anxiety, nothing, just clarity of who I am, and there is no reaction, even not even nothing. And some other situations, you know, it's like talking to this mother who just lost this child. It just touch you, you know, touch your.
uh,
You see what I'm saying?
yes, yes.
Like if you tell me tomorrow, look, I lost my partner, okay, sadness will come, you know, even in you, it will come because it's like.
But that's not identification. That's not owning. I mean, depending on what experience appears, you know, within awareness, the effect is different. Like if you're driving your car and the red light, you know, blinks in your car telling you low fuel, you're gonna experience, it's gonna be a specific experience that will lead you to a certain behavior, and a certain sensations will appear to you, certain thoughts will appear to you within in your mind and in your body about, oh, I need to go to the gas station as soon as possible, the next gas station. But if, for example, you have a different situation where uh, your pet, your dog gets very, very sick, and it's about, you know, it's extremely sick, it's going to be a different experience, a different thoughts and different sensations that are going to arise to you because it's a different experience. You're going to have more empathy for your pet and your behavior and your thoughts and the sensations that are going to appear to you are going to be different than if you're low on fuel. So, but I wouldn't say that I'm owning, using the words that you used, the sickness or the experience of the sickness of my dog more than I'm owning, whatever that means, the low fuel situation in my car. Yes, they are different, and yes, the relationship is going to be different. If a friend of mine loses their child, it's going to be a very different experience and different relationship than if I open the refrigerator and I find that, gee, there is no food in the refrigerator and I'm hungry. Yes. But this has nothing to do with identification. Now, identification is when there is a certain experience that appears to you and it triggers in you the sense of me, what's going to happen to me, why is this happening to me, like, and sort of it's as if you're perceiving the situation as being a harmful situation to you, whatever that you is. So there is a certain uh, in spite of the absence of any physical danger, there is a sense of a psychological danger, which in most cases is not called for. In most cases, it's referring to an imaginary personal entity, you see. That would be like if my neighbor's child is sick, and I would think, oh my God, I'm really sorry that her child is sick, but I'm glad it's not my son who is sick. At least my son is good, you know. That would be sort of in the direction of ignorance. That would be the sort of a lack of compassion and sort of being locked into your own personal bubble. So although we may have different situations which present themselves, which require different behavior and which trigger different responses, this does not mean that when there are experiences that trigger certain emotional responses like sadness or sorrow, as opposed to having to go fill your gas tank with gas, this does not mean ignorance. Ignorance very specifically refers to a misunderstanding about consciousness, more specifically, the belief and the feeling that you are a limited personal self, a limited personal consciousness, that you are a particular body-mind entity that's existing in time and space, that is born and is bound to die, which is true of the body, but I'm talking about feeling that you are the body-mind. That would be ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
So when there is a certain response that you experience, and you are questioning whether this response is ignorance or not, I invite you to take a look at whether this response is coming from the belief that I am Ana Elena. If there is the belief in there that I am this person, then you need to take a closer look, because any action that you're going to be undertaking from that belief, what's going to happen to me? I am this, I am, and he is that, and she is somebody else. When you're operating from that program, then your behavior is going to carry that virus in it, and it's going to affect your experience and the experience of others. It's basically what I refer to sometimes as contributing to the stream of sorrow.
Yeah, in the experience is not so much what happened to me. I don't feel like any fear, to say it like this, that this or that will happen. This is not the experience. I don't feel like, but I deal with many people who have or who are passing or has passed tragedies, to call it like these situations of losing their daughter, son in a war, or being raped, or all kinds of sexual abuse and sexual violence. So in many cases, I just listen to the person without saying anything, or just be there present, listening. But sometimes I feel like, maybe I need to do something else, or what else, legally I know what to do and it's okay. But it's more like compassion towards the situation that the person is presenting,
Of course.
because for her or him, it's a very real, life and death it matters to them. Even I'm not afraid of body mind dying, because I've been in 5 times in almost dying, and I was super relaxed because there is nothing to do anyway. So if you're dying, it's not that you are going to avoid that. And but it's more on the side of this response from the compassionate feeling, or I don't know how you use feeling or not, or I don't know, compassionate. Compassionate, I think, is to put yourself in the shoes of this other person.
Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in those situations, people can sense your love and sense your compassion. It's very healing, because in compassion, it's COM, like there's a oneness, a communal. We're sharing. It's not like, oh, you're dying and I'm sitting here smoking my cigar. No, I mean, there's a compassion. We're sharing that experience, and it's it's a good thing for both parties, for the person who's so-called dying and the person who's not so-called dying. Uh, it's a very healing moment, and it's also an experience that can uh, reveal to you what really matters, which is truth and love and presence. So you are by the side of these people, and already you are there, and you're open, so you're not coming with the fear, so that because you come with fear, then you're going to invite fear in them, and that's fear is not the place we want to go. That's we've done already many decades of fear. So we we come with an open, uh, uh, available mind space, and so then there is compassion, there is empathy, which is love. Absolutely. And if a thought comes to you about what else can I do, I don't know. Every situation is different. I mean, sometimes there are things you could do. I don't know. And some other times there is less you can do.
Mhm.
I mean, these major experiences that happen to us, that are like lead us to the death of the body, they also bring us closer to truth, because what we've been holding on to uh, for dear life is revealed that no matter how hard we try, is going to slip away. So then there is what remains, and there is something else that arises, which is the love, which is the peace, the equanimity. There are other qualities that can arise. It varies from person to person, but it's not a tragedy. It's part of the uh, realm of manifestation. There can be great understanding that's available to us as the body is passing.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay, Anna. Yes. Any questions?
Yes, Magdi. Hi.
Yes, hello, Philomene.
Hi. Magdi, about responsibility. Who is responsible? Is that only the body-mind? Because the I am is natural, good behavior, eh?
The way I look at responsibility is how we respond. So there is responding from a place of openness, of love, of understanding, wisdom. And there is the responding out of the me, out of our conditioned personal historical self. And whenever we respond from a place of openness and love and compassion and understanding, there is the experience of happiness and joy, reciprocity, contentment, satisfaction, and peace. And whenever we respond from our conditioned me, we are reinforcing the sense of separation, which is unhappy. So we're reinforcing the unhappiness, the ignorance. So that's how I look at the word responsibility. Now, there is another way of looking at responsibility, which is assuming that our actions belong to somebody. It is somebody who is acting, who is a personal self that should act responsibly, not act recklessly.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, there is no personal self. There is no such an entity. There is a belief in an entity, and sometimes there is a feeling. Not sometimes, maybe oftentimes, there is a feeling that there is an entity, and this entity is me. That I should be, as a personality, should be responsible. But in fact, there isn't. It's just a belief structure and a feeling structure, which has been repeating itself over and over. Mm-hmm. But so the sense of I should be responsible, I should act responsibly, basically means that that I consciousness there is action, decisions, and behaviors which come from the understanding that I refers to consciousness. And there is behavior and action which arise from the belief that I am a person, you are another person. I belong to this tribe, and you belong to another tribe. You think, because of course, misunderstanding about consciousness. It's true that the body may belong to a tribe, but you are not the body. The body appears to you is an experience you're having, like your car or like your home or like whatever. You're not the body. You're not the body. You are consciousness. Mm-hmm. So to act responsibly, to be responsible in the good way, would be aligned with consciousness, and to be irresponsible or responsible in a reckless way or in a hurtful way would be to be acting in this harmony with consciousness, without the understanding about truth, about reality. And there is a lot of that in our world. There's a lot of more irresponsible behavior than responsible behavior. It seems that way. And so everything that we do, everything we experience, every thought that we have is God's thought. It's not your personal thought. It appears to you from God. It's impersonal. It is universal. You don't need to channel God's wisdom through your personal structure or obstacle, the hurdle, when you run there, you put the hurdle. You don't need to take the universal message that comes to you and run it through your hurdles or your conditions. Because your conditions are a result of the past, which is dead. Their history, its ancestry. God doesn't live in the past, always presence. In the eternal now. In the eternal now, there is no past, there is just love. In the eternal now, there is just love. And,
Yes.
And the responding from the eternal now as the eternal now, which we all are. We are all sitting at the same table. We are all right now, and always sitting at the same table. The table of eternity, the table of being, God's table. And so we're all the children of God, as a way of speaking. Of course, I'm using, religious language. In God's world, there are no preferred children. There isn't like a preferred children. There are no chosen race or the unfavorable people. We're all equal. So therefore, you are talking to yourself and treating yourself and loving yourself. And if you're going harm, you're doing harm to yourself. If you're being selfish, you're being selfish to yourself. You're hurting yourself. So if you really are available for this understanding, how could you act in a way that can cause pain to somebody else?
Yeah.
The only responsible person is you. You is reality. You is not a separate you.
Yeah.
You is this awareness, this freaking awareness. This formless presence is you. You see? This formless presence is not separate from. It's not my formless presence. Is your formless presence. There's no I. There's no me. There's no owner.
Yeah.
But there's the same presence. So that's love. Meaning I'm you. I cannot be more loving to you than being you. No problem. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful answer. Yes, I understand. I understand. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Jeff. Hello.
Yeah, hi. You're looking well. I don't have any questions, just gratitude. I want to thank you very much for your meditations, and I want to also thank you and Holger for the beautiful resource of meditation. I use it often, and I'm not able to be with you a lot of times live like this, but I do use it often, and I really appreciate it. I want you to know that.
Wonderful, Jeff. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Very, very lovely to be with you all, to be together in this wonderful gathering, just loving each other, exploring. Yeah, it's beautiful. We are one.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Magdi.
Yes.
Thank you.